Hey everyone, okay, so today's video is going to be about the big storm pattern change for the rest of this week and then our February outlook for a month for temperatures and precipitation. Okay, so this is what's playing out this week. Now, we have a winter storm, or what's left of a winter storm, named Luna, exiting the northeast today, going into tomorrow. So parts of the northeast are going to get maybe an additional 1 to 2 inches of snow, but that's pretty much it on the way out. Anyways, whatever, right? Yeah. Anyways, but after that, what we're going to do is we're going to have a big warm-up for a lot of the country, actually. Already in the Southern Plains, in Dallas and Oklahoma City, temperatures today are in the 70s. 70s! 70s! It's like, whoa! Who turned on the heat? But yeah, 70s in January in Texas and Oklahoma. And even going into, like, Kansas City, temperatures are, like, in the 60s and everything. So, big surge of warm air coming up from the south. It's going to spread eastward as the week progresses, especially tomorrow going into Wednesday. Thursday it should be out of here. But tomorrow into Wednesday is going to be when it's really warm. Along with the warmth, however, we are going to bring a return of moisture, Gulf moisture. Unfortunately, we are going to have a very sharp cold front advancing east as well. Obviously, you have the contrast between warm and cold air clashing together. You have moisture, instability in the air, and you're going to get storms. And boy, are we going to have a stormy time, especially tomorrow going into Wednesday itself. Severe weather is very likely across the deep south in places like Texas, Oklahoma, going to Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, parts of Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, you name it, all the states in the south, starting off tomorrow, and then advancing eastward going into Wednesday. Severe weather is very likely with damaging winds, large hail, and isolated tornadoes are possible. So you want to make sure that you keep yourself updated with the news and weather tomorrow if you live down in the south here along the Gulf Coast. And then with that advancing cold front, we are going to have a very sharp turn of cold air come back into the Midwest. So Minneapolis, it's been like in the 30s for highs now. Wait until Wednesday when you get not even above zero for another high. It's supposed to be like -2 degrees at the middle of this week for a high temperature. So drastic changes are coming. But again, ahead of that cold front with the storm system, we are going to be very, very warm. Temperatures are going to be very much into the 70s, even 80s, going deeper into Florida. We are going to have 60s and 70s spread into the mid-Atlantic. DC may hit 70 on Wednesday. That's going to be your warm day. New York City will be flirting with around 60 degrees on Wednesday. Boston will be in the mid-50s on Wednesday. So very, very spring-like temperatures coming into the picture in the middle of the week. But after the storm system moves out to sea, we are going to have those winds turn northwest again and usher in that cool air. So 50s, 60s, 70s, bye-bye. We're going to be back into the 40s, 30s, and 20s for highs across the mid-Atlantic and northeast at the end of the week. But before that, you are going to feel spring-like temperatures coming in at the end of January. This is January, people. It's not even like, this is more like March and April type weather instead of January, so it's very unusual. Now, going over into the western part of the country this week, we do have a very big storm system making its way into the Pacific Northwest with lots of rain, heavy mountain snow, so ski lovers, if you go out skiing into the mountainous areas of the west, it's great out there for snowing. Fresh powder expected today going into tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. A foot plus in some of the highest elevations. So that's good if you do like the skiing. It is going to stay relatively mild, sort of say, not as warm as it's been over the past week in the southwest, but it is going to stay relatively mild. Phoenix, Arizona, you're still going to be in the 60s and 70s opposed to 70s and 80s you were last week. So a little cooler, but still mild for this time of year. LA, you're supposed to be in the 60s along with San Francisco. So mild conditions still are taking over the desert southwest. But eventually, actually, as this storm system in the Pacific Northwest dives southward toward the end of the week, we are going to have a little cool down coming into into the desert Southwest, but nothing terribly cold like you saw at the beginning of this month. So that's pretty much your overlook for this entire week weather-wise. And it is the end of January, so going into February now, you can expect to see, at least for the beginning part of February, expect to see about cooler than average conditions across the northern tier of the country, with about average temperatures, maybe slightly above average temperatures coming into the south and the southern plains. And then over into the desert Southwest, expect about average to slightly above average temperatures. The Pacific Northwest is going to stay relatively cool for at least the first part of February. Now, coming into the later part of February and going into early March, right around the turn of the spring season, we are going to have a pattern change, sort of say, where we are going to have kind of a flip-flop reversal like thing going on. But we are going to see slightly cooler conditions in the south and slightly warmer conditions in the north on average going into the latter part of February. And then speaking of going into even further down the road into March and everything, we are expected to have a lot of above average temperatures coming into the beginning of springtime. Meteorological spring, by the way, starts on March 1st. So by then, we are expected to see a much bigger warm-up. But we could definitely still see big snowstorms coming into the picture, especially for the first half of February. We are going to have about wetter conditions coming into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic for February. A little drier going into the Midwest and the High Plains, going into the eastern part of the Rockies. The Pacific Northwest, a bit wetter than average for February. In the desert Southwest, we're expected about average to slightly below average precipitation. And then across the South, just expect normal precipitation amounts for the month of February. So that is your precipitation and temperature outlook for this upcoming month. So until next time, remember to keep your eye to the sky. You can check out more weather videos on my YouTube channel, Weatherman R. And until next time, enjoy your day and weekend and everything else. See you later.